decides to try some uppercuts. Watch. Roland, still plenty game, will punch off the ropes and counter with his own right. First $1 million game since the famous Dempsey Tunney Long Count battle in Chicago 8 years before. Everyone's stunned by the fury of Lewis's attack.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before we get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, Mike Mazik. Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, The Boxtorian. Today, the Eastern European boxing style. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., It's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everyone today? This is the Wednesday afternoon hump day edition of Cast Sports, the Boxtorian. Welcome to everybody. We're going to be talking about the Eastern European boxing style today, brought to you by Thomas Hill. The last few Wednesdays, we've been going over some of the different boxing styles. We did the Cuban boxing style. Last week was the Mexican boxing style, and it's the Eastern European boxing style. Today, we're going to go over a little history of it, break it down. We're going to look at some of the great former Eastern European fighters, and we're going to look at some of the current guys that's from Eastern European that's in the professional rank. Okay? So today, the Eastern European boxing style, okay? But first, we're going to be doing the Highlights of Boxing History segment from 2 to 2:30 every day. And since it's Black History Month, the segment for this month is Highlights of Black Boxing History. Okay? We're going to be talking about Jack Johnson today on our Highlights of Black Boxing History. So now, without further ado, let's get to it. Oh, Lord. Highlights of Black Boxing History. Thank you very much. Those people over there in the peanut gallery really like this Highlights of Boxing History segment, as you can see. But how's everybody today? I thought I had it ready, but it's not ready. Yeah, Eastern European boxing style, though, those guys were fundamentally sound, and they weren't going to beat themselves. That's one thing about them. One thing they really have in common with the Cuban boxing style, those guys are not going to beat themselves. Okay, they don't make a lot of mistakes. But we're going to talk about it. But first, let's talk about this. We're going to talk about Jack Johnson for a bit, okay? Bear with me for a second, for one moment, please. Okay, all this. Yeah, but how's everybody today? We're going to get started in a moment. We're going to get some more people in here by 2:30. That's why we do this little segment while we're waiting for 2:30. And it's turned into a good thing. I thought I had everything ready. We had the great fight last weekend. David versus David. The fans won. It was a great fight, and we got a couple more good ones coming up. We got the rematch, of course, Beterbiev and Bivol, and then on the 24th, a lot of people not talking about Juto Nakatani and David Cuellar on the 24th from Japan. Yeah, that has potential to be a good scrap. That's 2 days after Bivol and Beterbiev. Man, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. American experience. Boxing the color line. been looking at it all morning now. I can't get it to come up. This is absolutely crazy. Oh, here we go. Let's get ready to lose my mind. Yeah, here we go. I think. Yeah, it's a lot smaller than it was. Okay, boxing the color line. Okay, let's get started. Salute, Mike Mazik. Okay, black boxing. Highlights of black boxing history, boxing the color line. Okay, we're gonna talk about Jack Dempsey and his time as heavyweight champion and things he went through. Okay, let's go. Boxing the color line. In 1908, when Jack Johnson fought Tommy Burns to become the first African American heavyweight champion of the world, a search began for a great white hope to take back the title. Okay? Now, American novelist Jack London wrote a newspaper column that summer, right? And it summed up his position and that of many Americans. He wrote, "I was with Tommy Burns all the way when he fought Johnson. He was a white man, and so am I. Naturally, I wanted to see the white man win. Put the case to Johnson and ask him, if he were the spectator at a fight between a white man and a black man, which would he like to see win? Johnson is black, and his black skin will dictate desire parallel to the one dictated by my white skin." Okay, that was in the New York Herald, December 27th, 1908. Competing races. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT in the building. What's up, T Hill? Starting out with a little highlights of black boxing history. This is Black History Month. Okay. Talk about Jack Johnson right now. We're gonna get started with the Eastern European boxing style at 2:30, you know. But competing races, okay? Ever since the ancient Olympic Games, athletes have represented their native or adopted nations in competition. The idea of race, perceived or imposed differences in appearance and culture as a means of division and domination, came about when the age of exploration brought different people together. It wasn't until the 20th century that nations with large immigrant populations like Australia and the United States held sports competitions that pitted members of one race against another, okay? Now, when African-American Jack Johnson took the heavyweight title from the Irish boxer Tommy Burns, the race issue in sports reached a new level. Some people did not believe that African-Americans had what it took to become heavyweight champions in the manly sport of boxing, okay? Fear of black superiority. What happened to you? Technique in the building. Oh, Miss Cass probably didn't even notice phone calls to you. But I'll get with you on that. The calls are okay. Okay, let's get back to this. Salute, Technique. How are you today, bro? Mine? Oh, man. Oh, boy. That's a hard question, Technique. My favorite would be Bivol is up there, a modern one, you know. Oh, man. I would have to think on that. Favorite European boxer of all time. There's some good old school ones too. This one guy, I think his name was pretty good. Go way back. I think it was David. No, not David. Technique got me thinking. can't really pronounce his name, but it was some good ones. Dmitry Pararov, David Akapetyan, Alexander Povetkin. But right now, Bivol. Bivol is a good one from the modern era technique. That is a very good question. Okay, breaking box, fear of black superiority. Now, whether due to his enormous talent in the ring or his ostentatious personality, Jack Johnson frightened many white Americans. To them, he not only represented the awful possibility of black superiority, but he refused to keep his place. He was not intimidated by white people, and he openly consorted with white women. Historian Jeffrey Simmons says, Jack Johnson had to be the bravest man in America. I'm amazed at what he did publicly. That many would not dare to do privately. In fact, even looking at a white woman could be a death sentence at the time for a black man. And it remained dangerous half a century later, as Emmett Till would discover in the 1950s. Now, breaking boxing's color line. Okay, breaking boxing's color line. Oh, you was just joking to you? Okay. Well, you got me, because I was wondering. I didn't even know you had called. But breaking boxing's color line. The fear of a powerful, uncontrollable black man remained on the minds of many white people when Joe Louis emerged as the next potential black champion. Neither boxer was expressly political. Now, Johnson pushed the envelope of expectations, while Louis, although no champion of the status quo, he looked moderate in comparison. But there is no doubt that these first black heavyweight champions broke through the color line in American sports. Now, national pride trumped racism, though. Now, though race relations were fragile in the United States, foreign threats could cause Americans to unite in support of black Americans. The best example of this came in 1936, when Adolf Hitler expected the Berlin Olympics to showcase the superiority of the Aryan race. He left the stadium when African-American track star Jesse Owens received 4 gold medals. Yeah, Jesse broke Hitler's heart that day. Now, although Americans had opposed the proposed boycott of the games, many perceived Hitler's disrespect not as white against black, but nationality, Germany against the United States. Now, being a good Negro, okay, being a good Negro. Usyk or Beterbiev, yeah, those are 2 good ones, technique. Yeah, I just something about Bivol, yeah. Being a good Negro. Now, Joe Louis had to win over white America through how he carried himself and how he performed. His managers set down rules for their young fighter, which they shared freely with supporters. Louis' public face would be the opposite of what Johnson's had been. Historian Jeffrey Sammons lists a few of Louis's good Negro rules. He could not gloat over opponents. He could not be seen in public with white women. He had to be seen as a Bible-reading, mother-loving, God-fearing individual, and not to be too black. Okay, let's talk about the 30s racism. Despite Louis's public image campaign, millions of whites rooted against him and awaited the great white hope who would claim boxing honors for their own race again. Writer Jack Neufeld says, America was a different country. If you go back and read the sports writing of the 30s, you'll find despicable Republic stereotypes of Louis as dumb, lazy on one hand, or as an animal of the jungle on the other hand. He was a truly savage person. Paul Gallico wrote of Louis, in the New York Daily News. I had the feeling that I was in a room with a wild animal, okay? And winning respect through his fight. Winning respect through his fight. Ultimately, though, what won Lewis white America's acceptance was not his mild personality and good behavior, but his dramatic matchups with German champion Max Schmeling, who, to many, represented the Nazi Party. Lewis would become the symbol of American freedom over Nazi totalitarianism. Sorry, you know what I mean. Okay, many whites still wanted to see Lewis defeated by a white boxer, but in 1938, when Lewis knocked out the German, the celebration wasn't confined to Black America alone. For the first time, blacks and whites, even in the Deep South, had rooted with all their hearts for the same guy. Writer Vernon Jarrett recalled, right after Joe Louis's victory, we got to work ahead of time. And I will say this, for this fellow where I worked, he says, well, it looks like your man won. I said, he sure did, didn't he? He says, maybe that'll teach Hitler a lesson. American icon. Joe Louis, like Jesse Owens, became an American icon. His status allowed him to contribute to the integration of other sports. For example, while serving in the Army, Lewis met an excellent black athlete. Having raised thousands of dollars for the military by fighting exhibition matches, Lewis carried some clout. Don't you know you got one of the outstanding football players in the country in this camp? And he can't play on the team, he asked the brigadier general, and the officer allowed qualified Negroes to join the team. But Lewis's friend held out. I'm not playing football unless they let me play baseball too. Finally, Jackie Robinson was allowed to play both sports and became a star player at Fort Riley, and then breaking baseball's color barrier. Years later, Branch Rickey hired Robinson to play for the Brooklyn Dodgers and asked Lewis, Paul Robeson, and other Black Americans to give Robinson some idea of what to expect when he joined the major leagues, okay? We didn't need to say anything to Jackie. He'd been in the Army. He knew just what to look for. He knew he'd had to be strong or he'd close the door for Black people in baseball for Lord knows how many more years, Lewis recalled. And Lewis also broke golfing's color barrier, okay? 1951, he showed up with friends to play the San Diego Open. Golfing's professional association, the PGA held up the tournament, but finally caved in and allowed Black golfers to compete. Like athletes in myriad sports, Tiger Woods indirectly owes his success to Joe Louis, okay? That was our highlights of Black boxing history for today. The Galveston Giant, Jack Johnson, first Black heavyweight champion. He passed the torch to Joe Louis. They were completely different. You see, Joe Louis's team took pains that he wouldn't be the next Jack Johnson, okay? They went the extra mile to make sure Joe Louis wouldn't be the next Black Johnson, next Black Jack Johnson, okay? So let's get ready to start with the Eastern European boxing style. Man, those words were small. That's totally different than what I had earlier. That was crazy. Okay, first we're going to start with a little history of the Eastern European boxing. Okay? But don't forget, we got the raffle coming up on February 28th for a few weeks. I didn't get the new commercial in. Yeah, I like Lomachenko too, technique, you know. And we're going to talk about why Eastern Europeans stay in the amateurs so long too. We're going to answer that question, why Eastern Europeans stay in the amateurs so long. We're going to touch on a number of things today, okay? But yeah, the raffle is February the 28th. $30 for a ticket. You know, the early bird special for $20 is over. $30 will get you in the door. Good food, a lot of door prizes. Going to be some a few boxing people there that's going to be at the fight, that's going to join us. And that $30 also gets you the opportunity to win a ticket to the fight the next day, okay? Or you can spend $10 and get one chance to win a ticket, or you can spend $25 and get 3 chances to win a ticket. Or just spend the $30 and get the whole deal, get into the event, get a chance to win a ticket, eat with some door prizes, have a lot of fun, okay? Meet some of the JBT content creators. Thomas Hill talking about being in the house. That's worth coming right there to meet the legendary Thomas Hill. That's worth the price of the ticket, you know. Get his autograph, you know. So yeah, it's going to be a big time. February 28th in New York City, the day before the Tank Davis Lamont Roach fight. Okay, if you're in the area, pull up. JBT second meet and greet. The first one was a smashing success. You can ask Senior about the food because Senior's still talking about the food from the meet and greet from last year. So yeah. Yep. But let's get ready to get started. I was trying to stall until 2:30. It's bad luck to start before 2:30. Last time I started before 2:30, the whole thing crashed on me. Was out for like 20 minutes. There's Dimitri Bivol right there. That's probably my favorite Eastern European fighter. You know, that's why he's the picture. He's the face of the introduction. Dimitri Bivol. But there's some more good ones. Beterbiev. Beterbiev doesn't exactly fight the style we're going to be talking about, you know, but he's an Eastern European fighter, you know. If you want to be honest about it, you know, he doesn't exactly fight in a typical Eastern European style, you know. But he's fundamentally sound and everything, just like the rest of them. He's not gonna make a mistake, and he's not gonna beat himself. Just like the Cuban and Eastern European boxing styles, you got to go in there and take the win from those guys. Fundamentally sound, okay. But the rest of the week, tomorrow is boxing in the States. It's going to be Oklahoma. History of boxing in Oklahoma. And look at some fighters from Oklahoma. Friday, the profile this week is the life and career of James Lights Out Tony. Don't miss that one. James Lights Out Tony Friday. Yup. Life and career. Every Friday we do a profile on a former boxer. This week, Lights Out. Okay, come on. Thank you. 229. Yeah, we're going to start out with a little history of the Eastern European style. Then we're going to talk about why they stay in the amateur so long. Okay, here we go. 2:30. Let's start. The Eastern European boxing style. Now, difficult to pronounce Eastern European names that often end in a V, Y, or O now dot the boxing landscape. And there are plenty of imposing nicknames to accompany them, like Tsar, the Eagle, the Machine, the Beast, Russian Hammer, Crusher, and the Nail. Now, one of the common denominators, aside from their origin, is the level of excellence they have reached. Vasyl Lomachenko, a Ukrainian, and Gennady Golovkin of Kazakhstan reached the very top of the sport during their careers. Sergey Kovalev, a Russian, he also was up there during his brilliant career. Some other names: Ivan Baranchik, Russian; Egis Kavalauskas, Lithuanian; Oleksandr Usyk and Oleksandr Vozdik, both Ukrainian. All big names, Eastern European fighters. And there are many more. Too many to list here. Okay? But that's just some of the stars. Now, the modern day Eastern Europe fighters no longer take that long trip to the US or vice versa. Now they tend to live and train together. providing a support network for one another. Whether it's in Oxnard, California, home to the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, or in Brooklyn, which reportedly contains the world's largest community of Russian immigrants, with LA close behind. Florida is also popular with these fighters. Dmitry Kuryashov and Denis Lebedev still live in Russia, but they are the exceptions, okay? They stayed in Russia during their careers. Now, the thread of excellence continues when they had the World Boxing Super Series in the cruiserweight division, featuring Murat Gassiev, Marius Breedis, Krzysztof Wlodarczyk, I guess, and Marco Huck. 4 more Eastern Europeans. A lot of big Eastern European names. Okay. Now, let's talk about the early warriors, Arbatchakov and Nazarov. Yeah, that's who I was thinking about. Yuri Arbatchakov technique. He was a pretty good Eastern European fighter. But the early warriors, Arbatchakov and Nazarov, 1990 to 1998. Okay, a little history of Eastern European boxing. Yuri Arbatchakov was probably the first Russian fighter to make the pro boxing scene, predating the subsequent explosion of talent that arrived in the early part of the new millennium. As a flyweight, he became the first Russian professional boxing champion, finishing with a 23-1 record. He first won the Japanese flyweight title in 1991, and then he captured the world crown the following year by icing the storied Myonchai JOK Kitakasim in Tokyo. Yeah, I'm going to do some butchering today, okay? Yuri defended 8 times, but he injured his hand, which may have played a role in his losing his last fight to Thailand's Chetchai Sasakol, a loss that led to his retirement. Unlike most Russian boxers of that time, Arbatchalov decided to go to Japan, where the smaller fighters were more appreciated. He was joined there by fellow Russian, Orzabek Gussie Nazarov, who won the WBA lightweight title in 1993 in South Africa against Dengon Dobela. Now, as an amateur, the super skilled Nazarov from Kazakhstan was the world bronze medalist in 1986 and European champion in 1987. And he had a record of 153 wins and 12 losses as an amateur now. His final fight was a shocking decision loss suffered against French fighter John Paul Mandy. Now, Nazarov had been suffering from left eye problems going into the fight, and he was thumbed in that very same eye in the 3rd round. This tragic accident tore his retina, ended his career, and left him all but blind in his left eye. He finished his professional career with a 26-1 mark. That was his only loss, his last one. And like Arbatchakov, fought most of his fights in Japan. Okay? Now, between them, these 2 great fighters finished with a combined record of 49 wins, just 2 losses, 1 apiece, against the very best level of opposition in their era. Yup. Now, a contemporary Andrei Yaroslavl Chalikov fought from 1990 to 2003 and ran up a 56 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws record while fighting out of Russia. He was the Russian super middleweight champion who held a number of secondary titles, but came up short in 2 attempts for a world belt against Frankie Laos and Bruno Girard. Okay? Post-Cold War. Now, the face of boxing began to change after the end of the Cold War, and then more dramatically during the late 90s. And that change involved an influx of boxing talent from Eastern European countries. No longer were these fighters doing their thing in a predictable and boring stand-up fashion. These were new and extremely well-trained and disciplined boxers with a more fluid and relaxed manner of fighting. They literally exploded onto the boxing landscape and have remained there ever since. Now, the influx started in earnest with Russian Kostya Tszyu, but then the Klitschko brothers emerged from the Ukraine as if out of nowhere, and the floodgates opened. Russians Oleg Maskayev, Nikolai Valuev, Alexander Povetkin, Vasily Gerov, and Sultan Ibragimov made their mark on the heavyweight scene, as did Ruslan Chagayev, who is from the Republic of Uzbekistan. We're going to talk about these fighters a little bit later, too, when go more deeper into their careers, when we get to the portion of some of the great former Eastern European fighters, right? Now, Chagayev and then the UK's David Haye were able to stop Valuev's improbable run. Now, Sergey Likovich from Belarus lost the title to Shannon Briggs, but Ibragimov won it right back. These men were the real McCoy. Now, Nikolai Valuev put it succinctly as follows. Now, he was the 7 foot, he's the tallest boxing champion in history. I think it was 7 foot Nikolai Valuev, over 300 pounds. And he put it succinctly as follows. He said, "This development does not surprise me in the slightest. It is simply the case that the time has come. It is our time now. Since the breakdown of the Soviet Union, many boxers have taken the opportunity to head west and have trained there. By doing so, they have gained valuable experience. On the one hand, we are influenced by the Russian school, but on the other hand, we can implement this newfound knowledge. That is the secret to our success." That was what Nikolai Valuev said about the Eastern European boxers, okay? Now, heavy-handed cruiserweight, Sergey, the Russian bear, Kovalzev, who had a career record of 22 wins, just 1 loss, who fought from 1992 to 1995. He did that in 3 years. He was among the most popular of this wave of boxers. If not for his untimely murder, allegedly by the Russian mafia in New Jersey, he could well have been the face of that movement, given his charisma and skills in the ring. Yeah, he won 22 fights out of 23 in just 3 years, right? But it was cut short, he got murdered. Now, the bear resided in Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, at the time of his death. Other retired Russian boxers of note included Dmitry "Baby" Kirillov, Denis Inkin, Ahmed Kotayev, Dmitry Pirog, and Roman Born in Hell Karmazin. Let's talk about Kostya Tszyu. After a celebrated amateur career in which he went 259 wins, 11 losses, Tszyu went 31-2. He hit the road running when he turned professional in Australia in 1992. He matched quick reflexes, great stamina, and uncommon focus and discipline, with numbing power in his right hand, the deferred nature of which was displayed when he made Zab Judah do the infamous chicken dance in 2001. I know y'all remember the chicken dance. And Zab was 27-0 at the time. When Tim Kostya Tszyu made him do the chicken dance. Perhaps the most celebrated Russian fighter ever, and arguably the greatest fighter with Australian citizenship, Tszyu retired in 2005 with a deceptive 33 fights. Deceptive because he had been matched against top-tier opposition virtually from the very start of his pro career. In fact, he beat Juan Laporte in just his 4th fight, and his second pro opponent had 35 fights. Beat Juan Laporte in his 4th fight, a veteran fight at that time. Juan was way back in the 80s, remember? And Kostya Tszyu's second fight was against a guy who had 35 fights. He was on the fast track, okay? Known as the Thunder from Down Under, Tszyu won the IBF Super Lightweight title in 1995 by stopping Jake Rodriguez in Las Vegas, okay? He defended it successfully until being upset by Vince Phillips in 1997. But he went on to win the WBC version of the title, stopping Miguel Angel Gonzalez, who was 43-1 at the time. Tszyu then won 8 in a row, including a blowout of Mexican legend Julio Cesar Chavez, who had 109 fights at the time. During this streak, Tszyu also won WBA, WBC, and IBF world title belts at 140 pounds. That made him undisputed because I think it was, I don't think the WBO was a major body at that time. Yeah, but it meant 3 belt undisputed. Yeah. In May 2005, Tszyu lost his final fight when he could not answer the bell for round 12 against Ricky Hatton in Manchester, England. The affable and articulate the affable and articulate Kostya Tszyu got the deserving call from the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2011. To Russia without love. Tszyu reportedly moved his family to Russia in 2008, but then came back home to sunny and warm Sydney, Australia to live, where he chases his dream of being an elite boxing trainer. His son, Tim Tszyu, who fights out of Australia, is also a professional boxer. Okay? It has a very bright future in the sport, you know? Yeah, Tim still has a pretty good future ahead of him. Okay, let's get into this breaking the style down now. Okay, the Eastern European boxing style. Let's get into this. Okay. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. The Eastern European boxing style. That's what we're doing today. Okay. All right. Come on. There you go. I got everything sit right in there. How to master the Soviet boxing style. That's what we're doing. Yeah, Technique was asking me. I guess that would be my favorite European boxer, right? Eastern European boxer right there. Let's talk about it. Anybody coming? No. Okay. Salute to everybody that's in here, though. All right. Now, the Soviet boxing style was created during the days of the Soviet Union and revolves around strategic footwork, precise combinations, high fight IQ, and keeping opponents at range. It's a technique-driven boxing style that prioritizes fighting from outside range and controlling the fight's tempo with sharp combinations and footwork. Now, the typical Soviet boxing style fighter has exceptional footwork, solid defense, and jab-heavy combinations. The style tends to favor taller, longer boxers, since it involves spending most of your time inside the ring at outside range. Okay, now let's touch on the origins of the Soviet boxing style. Just a little more about brief history. We just covered it a little in depth, but yeah. The Soviet boxing style was created out of necessity in a boxing landscape that was dominated by Western countries in the 20th century, right? Also known as the Eastern European or Russian style. It was developed by Soviet boxing coaches who wanted to create a system that equipped boxers with tools to deal with all the complexities that could unfold during a fight. Now, over time, the style has gone on to represent the resilience and discipline many associated with the people from the regions that once fell under the Soviet Union's banner. Now, the Eastern European style has been extremely effective in modern times, with fighters like Vladimir Klitschko, Sergey Kovalev, and Dmitry Bivol dominating their respective divisions. Okay? Now, the main principles of the Soviet boxing style. Okay, let's touch on the main principles of the style. And I tell you, this show is brought to you by Thomas Hill. I'd like to take a show out of the chat on Wednesday, and he gave me this idea of doing a series on the different boxing styles. This is the third installment. Cuban boxing style was first. Mexican boxing style was last week. They get some pretty good views on them shows too. You know, later afterwards, yeah. Now, the main principles of the Soviet boxing style. Time out. Can I take a time out? Thank you. Need a drink. Okay. Everybody hitting the like button. Yeah, I guess. Okay, let's go. The main principles of the Soviet boxing style. Now, these days, the Soviet boxing style is one of the most respected approaches to boxing, as it embodies the purest goal of the sweet science, right? Hit, but don't get hit, right? That's the main goal, right? Hit, but don't get hit. It's not always the most fan-friendly approach, since it is rare to see a Soviet-style boxer engage in mindless brawls inside the ring. Instead, this style emphasizes using good footwork and defense to avoid punches while using weapons like the jab and cross to pick opponents apart from range. Okay? Now, some of the key principles of the Soviet boxing style include, number one, prioritizing the jab. Okay? That's I think that's Vladimir Klitschko there. That's Vladimir. No, that might be Vitaly. That's Vitaly. Because Vladimir hairlines start back first. That's how I tell them apart. I think that's Vitaly. Okay. But number one, we're talking about some principles. What are we talking about? Principles of the style. The main principles of the Soviet boxing, Eastern European boxing style. I keep saying Soviet. It was Soviet because most of the countries these fighters come from used to be all under the Soviet Union banner. But through the years, they branched off and now they're their own countries. So instead of the Soviet boxing style, it's the Eastern European boxing style now. Okay? Now, some of the main principles. Number one, prioritizing the jab. Okay? The Soviet boxing style places a strong emphasis on the jab over all other punches. Jabs are thrown in a fast, snapping motion to score points and set up more powerful punches. The jab is also used to gauge distances to pave the way for more powerful punches. Okay? Boxers like Vladimir Klitschko, that's Vladimir. Did I say Vitaly? I think that must be Vladimir. I don't know which. It's one of them. It's Vladimir or Vitaly, okay? Can't go wrong with that. That's either Vladimir or Vitaly Klitschko on the screen, right? Now, boxers like Vladimir Klitschko were often criticized for only throwing jabs and an occasional cross during their fights. But their records show how effective prioritizing the jab can be, okay? Now, another principle of the European boxing style, the unconventional lead hook. The unconventional lead hook. I don't know who that is. It's an Eastern European fighter, I guess. Yeah. The unconventional, but he's throwing a lead hook, okay? The unconventional lead hook. The long-range lead hook is another technique that characterizes the Russian boxing style. The technique involves throwing the lead hook almost as if it's a jab and only turning it at the very last moment. Yeah, Vladimir Klitschko was an expert at that. Turning it at the last. He threw his jab like that too, right? It is often used as a surprise attack that can slip past the guards of experienced boxers. Now, a small step might also be performed when executing the technique to help close the distance. Yeah, when you're throwing the hook, a small step forward might help close the distance, especially if you're doing the hook and you're at a reach disadvantage to your opponent. That small step will definitely help close the distance, especially if you're at a reach disadvantage. Okay. Now, next, number three, principles of the Eastern European boxing style: the jab lead hook combination. Okay, Mike Grimm in the building. Good afternoon, Mike Grimm. How are you today, bro? This is the Eastern European boxing style today. Good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by, Mike. Okay, let's continue. Okay, this is the Hump Day Wednesday afternoon edition of Cass Sports the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. The jab lead hook combination, another staple of the Eastern European boxing style. Okay, now this punch is one of the key this combination is one of the key combinations Eastern European style fighters use. The combination involves using a jab to set the hook up, but getting your opponent to move their guard toward the front of their face to help close the distance. It's an excellent combination for scoring knockouts once you get the hang of it. You get your opponent to feel a false sense of security with the jab before throwing a powerful hook at them, okay? put him to sleep, roll him to sleep with that jab a few times, and then come right behind it with that lead hook. Might get him up out of there. Okay. Another principle of the Eastern European boxing style, the pendulum bounce. And I put Victor Postol up there because he was good at this, man. Victor Postol. Anybody ever seen him fight? He was good at this. Listen to this. Now, Victor Postol to me is real. Well, Dimitri Bivol is a bigger, better version of Victor Postol, right? Dimitri is just a bigger, better version of Victor Postol. Victor was good, but he didn't have the skills Dimitri got. But yeah, similar. Now, pendulum bounce. The Victor was good at this. The Eastern European boxing style incorporates a footwork technique called the pendulum bounce. This involves a boxer constantly shifting their weight as they bounce back and forth on the balls of their feet while moving their upper body and head to avoid punches. Anybody seen Victor Postol fight? Wasn't that him? Huh? Anybody seen Victor fight? He was excellent at this, man. Okay? Constantly shifting your weight as you bounce back and forth on the balls of your feet while moving your upper body and head to avoid punches. Yeah. Victor used to almost look like a kangaroo doing this, remember? Yeah. That's why I put him up there. Now, the pendulum bounce helps to create deceptive angles you can attack from, and it often leaves opponents struggling to predict what your next move will be. However, the pendulum bounce requires lots of practice to master, right? Lots of practice. And that's one thing those Eastern European fighters did. Lots of practice. Lots of drilling, man, Lots of drilling. That's why they so fundamentally sound. Okay, another principle of the Eastern European boxing style, attacking while moving. That's Usyk. Attacking while moving. Sound like Alexander Usyk to me. Attacking while moving. Ex-AJ. And Tyson Fury. And Daniel Dubois. Okay. Now, another impressive feature of the Russian boxing style is throwing punches while moving backward or sideways. Moving away from an opponent typically reduces the power behind your punches, but you can make up for that with precise timing and accurate strikes. You might also get to use your opponent's momentum against them if they're chasing you down as you try to get away. Yeah, you can set the trap that way. Moving away, your opponent coming in trying to catch you, you get a good shot in, use your own momentum coming forward against them, right? That is an excellent trap to set, Use their own momentum against them. As they're trying to close the distance as you're moving away, you catch them coming in at that right moment. Might get them up out of there. The learning how to strike while moving away from opponents creates openings for counterpunches while removing you from your opponent's reach. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. That creates good opportunities for counterpunches, right? Now, it's the tools Eastern European style boxers use to keep their opponents at outside range, along with their jabs. That's why something Ant was talking about a few weeks ago. So many people always say, well, he don't have the power to keep him off of him. Power is not the only thing you can keep a fighter off of you with, okay? The jab and this technique right here. Moving away while attacking, right? Can't they keep a fighter off of you? Just move away. So, that's what in the world, but that's a myth. People always say, he don't have the power to keep him off of him. Power is not the only thing that can keep a fighter off of you, okay? So just keep that in mind, as you're talking boxing. You don't always have to use power to keep somebody off of you. And I got that from the great Ant McQueen, okay? Yeah, and I thought about that. That's right. Because I've said that myself. Oh, he don't have the power to keep him off, but power ain't the only thing to keep a person off of you with. That's an excellent technique right there. Attacking while moving away, right? And you can set a trap for them. Moving away, they rushing forward to pin you down. Boom. Counter them right in the chin. Get them up out of there. Now, the legacy of the Russian boxing style, okay? The legacy of the Russian boxing style. What? 5 minutes to 3. No way. Time is flying. The legacy of the Russian boxing style, the Eastern European, the legacy of the Eastern European boxing style. Okay. Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do Boxing? Coming up at 4 p.m. That's who I'm warming you up for. 4 o'clock, you're going to get that balanced, unbiased boxing talk. And guess what? Everybody gets their Just Do at Just Do Boxing. Salute, Just Do. Okay. The legacy of the Russian boxing style. I know I said that like 5 times, but I'm really going to tell you right now. Okay. The legacy of the Eastern European boxing style. Same thing. Okay. Now, some of the most dominant champions in boxing's history are from the Eastern European style, right? It has been a huge reason for their success, this style. For example, Dmitry Bivol was able to pull off an upset against Saul Canelo Alvarez by controlling the distance, as the Eastern European style recommends, right? And picking Canelo apart from range with his long reach weapons. And he's trapped Canelo a couple times too, moving away, and Canelo coming in trying to chase him down, and Bivol attacked, right? I've seen that a couple times. Didn't y'all see that a couple times in that fight? That technique, moving away while attacking? Yep, ask Canelo about it. He'll tell you. Alexander Usyk is another Eastern European style boxer. And his accomplishments inside the ring highlight how effective their approach can be, regardless of weight classes. Perfect example, Alexander Usyk. That's him right there. Vladimir Klitschko is arguably the textbook definition of an Eastern European style boxer, as he never strayed much from it throughout his career. Yet Vladimir went by the Eastern European boxing style book, okay? Vladimir went by the book. He probably had a book over in the corner between rounds reading it about the style, because he never strayed far from it. That is a very true statement. Anybody seen Vladimir fight? All these things we talked about, he exhibited these type of techniques throughout every fight in his career. Didn't stray much. Vladimir was rarely ever in danger inside the ring during his reign, using his superior footwork to evade strikes and create angles, while picking his opponents apart with jabs and jab cross combinations from range. The Eastern European boxing style remains popular in modern boxing thanks to its emphasis on boxers mastering the fundamentals of boxing, like making intelligent decisions and staying balanced as you throw punches and move around the ring. The Eastern European boxing style has been so effective inside the ring that the main criticism its detractors often have is that fighters from the background are sometimes reluctant to get into brawls. However, those who understand the sweet science know it has always been about hitting your opponent and not getting hit back. Very few styles compared to the Russian style when it comes to keeping true to its core boxing philosophy, hitting and not getting hit, right? And that's a sure way to get your hand raised by the referee at the end of the fight, hitting and not getting hit. But ain't it strange? When African American boxers do it, they call it running, but when Eastern European boxers do it, they call it the sweet science. But that's the story for another day. Okay. Okay, let's continue. I got some more for you. Next, we are going to cover, let's see anybody come in. Mike Rim, Just Do Boxing. Yeah, I greeted them. Salute Mike Rim and Just Do Boxing. Okay, now, oh yeah, I got a question. I got a question and I'm going to answer it. Why do Eastern Europeans spend so much time in the amateurs? I'm glad you asked, Cass Sports. Okay, because I got the answer. Okay. Okay, why do Eastern European boxers spend so much time in the amateur boxing? Okay, let's talk about that. Not long, briefly. Then we're going to talk about some fighters. Okay. some former Eastern European fighters after this. Okay. Okay. I did that. Okay, here we go. I gotta check everything because I'm forgetful. I'll start talking about breaking down the style again. Why do Eastern Europeans spend so much time in amateur boxing, though, right? Probably for several reasons. Okay. Now, number one, they have a strong amateur system, often as a result of being a former communist nation, which didn't allow for professional sports. But unlike the United States amateur sports system, Eastern Europeans' top amateur athletes, Olympians, national and international competitions, they did get paid by their governments, right? And earn bonuses, houses, cars, for example, for winning in the amateurs, okay? So they got compensated. That's one reason staying there so long, right? Now, that didn't change when their countries dropped their communist governments. Vasyl Lomachenko, who won 2 gold medals in boxing for Ukraine post-communism, still was awarded, he still was compensated, houses, cars, for example, for his Olympic victories by the Ukrainian government. Essentially, they are amateur professionals, okay? That's one reason. They don't mind staying in amateur because they're being compensated for it. Unlike U.S. boxers, you don't get nothing. You can't get anything legally, but in those other Eastern European countries, you can be compensated in the amateurs. Number two, until recent decades, these formerly communist Eastern European nations didn't have professional boxing competitions. So, if an Olympic national champion wanted to compete in professional boxing, they would have to move to Western Europe, United Kingdom, or the United States and retain managers and trainers and promoters from those new countries, which can be stressful if you are new to the culture and don't speak the language, right? So a lot of them just didn't make their move. They stayed in the amateurs. I can understand that, It's a new culture. You don't speak the language. You got to get an American or Western European manager or trainer, promoter. So they just say, I'm just going to stay in the amateurs. I can understand that. Plus, many of the Olympic national champions are already in their late 20s, early 30s. So they had to try and build a new life and boxing career at an age when most non-heavyweight boxers are starting to retire, right? But things are changing radically. Eastern European, Middle Eastern, East Asian, and Central Asian athletes and combat athletes are increasingly making their way into the West to compete and make their fortunes in Western professional sports at an earlier age. You're starting to see those Eastern Europeans in there at earlier ages now, Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some of these former fighters now from Eastern European countries, okay? Some of these former guys. Yeah. I got 3 phones and a laptop. Okay, so I can go straight to the story, right? Next, we're going to talk about some of these fighters. And I got that on this phone. I got a system. I just don't know what it is, but I got one. Look at that. I'm right at where I want to be. We're going to talk about some of these former fighters. First is Sultan Ibragimov. Is that you, Sultan? Yeah, that's Sultan. I turned this music down, but it comes back up on its own. What? That's crazy. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, hell no. Can't turn it off. The music stop, I stop. There we go. Okay. Sultan, the first one is yeah. Shut up, phone. Sultan Ibragimov, okay? Sultan Ibragimov. I thought I was where I wanted to be, but it don't look like it. But bear with me for a second, please. How's everybody doing today? Man, I tell you. I think this is it. Sultan Ibragimov. Yeah, because Tim Tszyu, right. We talked about Tim Tszyu, remember? Yeah. Sultan Ibragimov is first. Yeah, that's Sultan on the screen. We just going to briefly talk about some the former greats from Eastern Europe, okay? Sultan Ibragimov. Now, his story is one of dedication and triumph against all odds. He was born in a small village in Dagestan. He embarked on a journey that took him from amateur glory to the pinnacle of professional boxing. Ibragimov wasn't just another heavyweight. He was a rare breed, the only Avar boxer to etch his name on the world title belt. Standing at 6'2", he might have been smaller than most heavyweights, but he compensated with his lightning-fast southpaw jabs and surprising resilience. Packing a wallop in his punches, he wasn't afraid to stand his ground and trade blows. His grit and determination were legendary, making him a formidable opponent for any fighter in the ring. He is one of the 6 members of a premium club of left-handed fighters who have ascended to the title of World Heavyweight Champion. Ibragimov secured silver medals at the 2000 European Championships, the 2000 Olympics, and the 2001 World Championships. That's 7 now because of Usyk. Amassing it. I didn't know it was that few. Just 7 southpaw World Heavyweight Champions. Wow, I'm learning too. I did not know that. Did y'all know that? It's been just 7 southpaw World Heavyweight Champions. Wow. But anyway, he secured a silver medal at the 2000 European Championships. He got a silver at the 2000 Olympics in Sydney and the 2001 World Championships, amassing an amateur record of 135 wins with 6 losses. Not bad as an amateur. Okay. Next is Omar Maskayev. Yes, I told you I'll be doing some butchering. Omar Maskayev. I think that's right. Maskaev. Omar Maskayev. There's Omar. Okay. Omar Maskayev. Now, Oleg Maskayev. Now, Oleg Maskayev was a heavyweight paradox, standing tall at 6'3" with a granite physique and a fearsome punch. He possessed undeniable talent and skill, yet his reputation was marred by a notorious weakness, a glass jaw. He fell too many times, some defeats even coming against less technically gifted opponents. This Achilles heel ultimately kept him from boxing's absolute summit, landing him at number 8 on this list of the number 9 best Russian boxers of all time. Despite this, his late career triumph, winning the WBC belt and twice dethroning the formidable Hasim Rahman, remains a testament to his grit and determination. Now, despite turning pro in 1993, he dipped back into amateur competition before fully committing to the professional ranks in 1995. His early pro career was a roller coaster ride, marked by both exhilarating victories and brutal defeats. Remember, he had that glass jaw. In November 1999, when he defied all odds by knocking out the heavily favored Rahman in a shocking 8th round upset. This single powerful right hand sent Rahman crashing through the ropes and cemented the boxer's place in boxing history. I remember that fight. 6 years later, he secured the WBC international title and the opportunity to contend for the WBC regular title. then held by Sim Rockman, that same one he had defeated a few years back. He beat Sinan Samil Sam of Turkey to get that shot. Now, the crowning achievement of his career came on August 12, 2006, when he clinched the World Championship by stopping Rockman again with a 12th round TKO. Yep, he got Rockman out of there again. Next, after this, we're going to talk about some of the current fighters from Eastern Europe, okay? Got some current guys too. Dmitry Pirog, okay? There's Dmitry Pirog. Now, Dmitry Pirog is a rare gem among Eastern European boxers, as he holds a unique distinction of remaining invincible throughout his career. Even though he fought no more than 20 fights in his professional career, Pirog is celebrated as an influential figure in the Eastern European boxing arena. As an 8-year-old, he would navigate the black and white squares of the chessboard and saw a future as a professional chess player. He found his true calling in boxing later and crafted an immortal legacy with his lightning-fast footwork and defensive mastery. Pirog built his own style when they kept him standing through 200 amateur fights and 20 professional ones. Never hit the canvas without ever tasting the canvas, right? He rose to the top, capturing the WBO middleweight championship and enchanting audiences with his elusive footwork and precision punching. Yet, just as the world craved more chapters in his undefeated saga, the Grand Master hung up his gloves, leaving boxing fans wondering what heights he could have reached had the story continued. Yep, he hung him up early. Just 20 fights. 20 fights in. Gave it up. Next, David Arapetyan. Okay? Now, David Arapetyan, an Armenian-Russian amateur boxer, provides inspiration and motivation to budding boxers, making him a fitting inclusion on this list. The Russian National Championship was his first triumphant note. The melody then crossed borders, reaching the heights of the European Championships, where his masterful performance resonated across the continent. And finally, the symphony reached its grand finale, the World Championships. Under the spotlight of global competition, Arapetyan delivered a flawless performance, claiming the ultimate prize, the title of world champion. Adding to his list of achievements is the Olympic bronze medal he earned at the 2012 Summer Olympics in London. Recognizing his outstanding contributions, Arapetyan was bestowed with the title of Honored Master of Sports of Russia in 2009. He also stands as the second Russian boxer to taste success in the light flyweight division at the European Championships. Yeah, a very decorated amateur boxer. Okay. Oh boy, it gets worse. Zarbak Basungarov. That's right, Zarbak Basungarov. Okay, I guess. Now, Zarbak is an agonizing case of what could have been in the Russian boxing scene. Recognized as one of the best Russian boxers of his century, Basungarov claimed the WBO Super Welterweight Championship, only to see his career unexpectedly curtailed for reasons unknown. The hard-hitting Chechen, famous for his relentless attacking prowess. Now, his ascent in the professional ranks was swift, but December 2008 presented his defining moment. Matched against the seasoned Cornelius Kundrich, he tasted defeat for the first time in his career, succumbing to a TKO in the 5th round. His path to the top started in September 2006, when he outpointed Marco Antonio Rubio to claim the WBC International Super Welterweight title. He wasn't content with just regional glory, though. In December 2010, he faced the fierce puncher Richard Gutierrez for the vacant IBO title. Though knocked down in the 4th round, he got up and dominated the fight and scored a dramatic 12th round TKO victory. His meteoric rise continued in July 2011 when he dispatched Mike Miranda with a lightning fast 51-second knockout for the interim WBO title. And finally, in May 2012, he achieved the pinnacle of his career, battling back from a knockdown, and he outclassed Michael Soro in a masterful performance, capturing the full WBO championship and solidifying his place among the elite. Okay? Finally got the full title. Got a couple more. Then we're going to talk about some current guys from Eastern Europe. Okay? Next, Yuri Arbatchikov. Yuri Arbatchikov. Here's Yuri. Yuri Arbatchikov is not just one of the best Russian boxers of all time. He is arguably the finest flyweight fighter the nation has ever produced. With a modest height of 5'4", Arbatchikov might not have been a physical man, but his boxing prowess spoke volumes, made up for his size. The Siberian dominated the amateur circuit, claiming both the European and World Championships, with 186 wins with only 21 losses as an amateur, right? His hunger for glory reached beyond national borders. Japan's Koei Gym recognized his potential and offered him a chance to rewrite his legacy in the professional ranks. Under the mentorship of that gym, Arbatchikov made the transition to the professional arena in Japan, right? Adopting the last name Ribara in honor of a revered Japanese boxer and world champion. Now, Arbatchikov made history by becoming the first Russian pro boxer in a world title fight after to win a world title after defeating Meng Chai Tidikassim. That means it took him only 13 pro fights to clinch the WBO title. 13 fights in his career, he became a champion. Alexander Povetkin. That was a great Eastern European fighter, Alexander Povetkin. Okay. Now, Povetkin is the king of Russian boxers in the heavyweight category, right? Sasha Povetkin, 6'2", 225 pounds, might be considered small by modern heavyweight standards, right? And what he lacks in size, he more than makes up in power punching precision, and an ironclad chin. Born in Kursk, Russia, his athletic journey began in the brutal world of kickboxing, right? He reigned as world champion in kickboxing in 1997. And he won the world championship in 1999 and the European championship in 2000. Then he crossed the line in boxing that same year, claiming a Russian championship. Undeterred by weight class limitations, Povetkin carved his path in the super heavyweight division, capturing the European title in 2002 and 2004, followed by the World Championship in 2003, and the Ultimate Prize, Olympic gold in 2004. Then he made his professional debut in 2005, okay? Professional debut 2005. He won the WBA regular title in 2011 by defeating Ruslan Chagayev, right? Another Eastern European fighter. He cemented his reign with 5 dominant defenses before facing the ultimate test, Vladimir Klitschko, a champion holding multiple titles. In 2015, Povetkin's undefeated streak met its end in a close decision, but his ambition remained unaffected. 5 years later, he squared off with Anthony Joshua for another shot at unified glory. Though valiant, Povetkin succumbed to a powerful 7th round stoppage. He had lost in his 2 biggest fights, Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua. Sergey Kovalev, down to the final 2. Sergey Kovalev, okay? Everybody heard of Sergey. Had those famous fights with Andre Ward. Wasn't it Andre Ward? Fought Tyson Fury too, didn't he? Is that Sergi? I think. Or did I get out of whack? Yeah. Who is that? Let's see. Sergi Kovalev. Need some light for a moment. Excuse me for a moment. Yeah. That's Sergi right there. Okay. Sergi Kovalev. Now, 2013 witnessed the electrifying arrival of Sergi Kovalev. He tore through the light heavyweight division like a comet, finishing all 4 opponents for the year with thunderous knockouts. Now, the pinnacle of his meteoric rise came in August when he collided with the undefeated Nathan Cleverly in a brutal display of power. Kovalev dismantled Cleverly in 4 rounds, claiming the coveted WBO title and announcing himself as a force to be reckoned with. Sergi Kovalev's exceptional resume as the Crusher warrants his presence as one of the best Russian boxers. Okay, acknowledged as the Ring's Fighter of the Year in 2005. He amassed significant accomplishments as a professional, including multiple light heavyweight champion titles, holding the unified WBA, IBF, and WBO titles from 2013 to 2016. Kovalev continued his triumphs by clinching the WBO title again in 2017 and in 2021. 29 of his 35 wins have come as knockouts. Okay, that's 88%, I believe. Yeah, I didn't do it. Let me do it. 29. I did it, but I don't know where I wrote it down at. 29 knockouts in 35 wins. 82%. I thought it was higher than that, but 82 does not bad. 82.8%. Okay, let's finish this up. 29 of his 35 wins came by knockout in his career, imposed by his powerful and devastating blows, leaving opponents crumpled and dreams shattered. This raw power, combined with undeniable skill, propelled him to the top of the light heavyweight pyramid. Okay, and did Costa Zoo, Victor Postol. We had Victor. There's Victor right there. Yeah, Victor Postol. Let's turn him briefly. Then we're gonna get to the current fighters. Oh, okay. Victor Postol. No, you're in there, Victor. There's Victor right there. Yeah, Victor was just he was a Ukrainian professional boxer. He had the WBC light welterweight title from 2015 to 2016. And Victor amassed a professional record of, he had 36 fights total. He won 31, lost 5, 12 by knockout. Okay, now let's look at some of the current Eastern European guys that's fighting right now. Like starting out with Beterbiev, Artur Beterbiev. Okay, excuse me for one moment. I need to put this light on over here. Be right with me. Artur Beterbiev had a big fight coming up with Dmitry Bivol, the rematch, in a couple of weeks. Okay, this is the 5th, right? What is it, like Saturday after this one, I guess, right? Yeah, I think 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Yeah, the Saturday after this one is the rematch. Yeah, okay. Artur Beterbiev. Let's see what talk about Artur Beterbiev. Okay, just brief. I ain't trying to bore y'all to death. It is Arthur. Okay. Now Arthur, Russian and Canadian professional boxer, dual citizenship, Russian and Canadian. He's held the undisputed championship in the light heavyweight division since 2024, as well as the Ring Magazine and International Boxing Organization titles. Okay. Arthur is currently 21 fights, 21-0, 20 of them by knockout. 20 of them by knockout. That's definitely 90 something. My calculator ain't working. 95%. I thought that was 75. 95% knockout ratio for Arthur. Okay. And a little bit more on Arthur. Beterbiev is the first boxer to become the undisputed light heavyweight champion since Roy Jones Jr. last held that distinction in 2002. And he's the first to do so in the four-belt era. As an amateur, Beterbiev won a light heavyweight silver medal at the 2007 World Championships. He won gold at the 2008 World Cup and 2009 World Championships, as well as gold at the 2006 and 2010 European Championships. Very decorated amateur. He also reached the heavyweight quarterfinals at the 2012 Olympics in London. You know, I think he represented Canada. He didn't medal, but he got to the quarterfinals, and he did compete in the Olympics, okay? So Arthur was a very decorated amateur. He is particularly known for his exceptional punching power, having won the first 20 of his 21 professional fights by knockout or stoppage since debuting in 2013. Arthur Beterbiev. Okay, next is his opponent coming up in a couple weeks, 2 weeks from Saturday, Dimitri Bivol. Here's Dimitri. Had some people come in. They didn't come in. They didn't comment, but they in here. Hit the like. Thank you very much. Need 3 more likes to get 20. Okay, Dimitri Bivol is next. Okay. Oh, Kurt Cass, what you doing? Slow down. Got everything all set up. I'm just hitting buttons. Let me get Dimitri up here. One of my favorite boxers. Don't make me bypass you, Dimitri. Try this again. Got to talk about Dimitri Bivol. Yeah. There he is. Okay. Dimitri Bivol. Okay, let's touch on him right quick, briefly. Now, Russian light heavyweight boxer, former WBA champion, 6 foot inches tall. He has a 72-inch reach and an orthodox stance. As an amateur, Bivol won a gold medal in the 81 kilogram category at the 2013 World Combat Games in St. Petersburg, Russia. He turned professional at the following year, defeating Jorge Rodriguez of Uruguay by TKO in Moscow in his debut. Bivol had held the WBA light heavyweight title from 2017 to 2019, and the WBA light heavyweight title again from 2019 to 2024. Just lost it to Arthur Beterbiev last year and going back at it again in a couple of weeks. Dimitri, good luck, Dimitri. Okay. Next, Alexander Usyk, already punched his ticket to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. I don't care what nobody say. Usyk could retire right now. He could hold a press conference at 4 o'clock and say he retired, and the Hall of Fame will be calling. What is it, 5 years? Or is it 3 now? Is it still 5? Whatever it is, they be calling Usyk in that time frame, telling him, come on. No, we need you. You're in. Alexander Usyk, Ukrainian professional boxer, and the current, he's not undisputed anymore. I think he had to give up the IBF, but formerly current undisputed heavyweight world champion. Only 1 of 6. No, 5. The Bud, Katie Taylor, Monster Usyk. Why? 1 of 5 that's been undisputed in 2 weight classes in the 4-belt era. Only 1 of 5 people to do that. Understand Usyk. Jarrell Hattie in the building. What's up, Jarrell Hattie? Kensaw Love one in here. And Define Arnie one in the building. Salute. We're talking about some current Russian fighters right now, Eastern European fighters. Cover the Eastern European boxing style today. Talking about some of the current people that fights there. Now, all three of you at 4 o'clock go straight to the principal's office because all three of you are late. Okay? Straight to the principal's office at 4 o'clock. Kensaw Love one, Jarrell Hattie, and Define Arnie one. I'm sending y'all names down in there. But salute. Salute, appreciate y'all, man. Kensaw Love one, Jarrell Hattie, Define Arnie one. Appreciate y'all 1,000%. And I done hit something and lost. Usyk. I'm back. Usyk. There it is. Got it. Okay, Alexander Usyk. Did I do Usyk? Damn, I can't even remember now. Woe is me. Now I can't get it. If I did it, I'm doing them again. Yeah. Yeah, he's only one of 5 2-division 4-belt undisputed champions. You know, Clarissa Shields. They happened in this order. Clarissa Shields was the first 2-division 4-belt. Bud Crawford was next. Remember, Katie Taylor and Monster did it a month apart. Katie got her second one in November 2023, and the Monster got his second weight 4-belt weight class in December 2023. And Usyk got his last year, only 5 of them, right? And yeah. And Usyk, he's had the Ring Magazine title since 2022 and beat Tyson Fury twice. Only man to beat Tyson Fury, and he did it twice, right? So that's why I say Usyk's ticket to the Hall of Fame is punched already. Okay. I'm trying to land this plane now. Vasyl Lomachenko is next. Vasyl Lomachenko. Some current Eastern European. Is Lomachenko still fighting? I haven't heard nothing about him being retired, so he's on the actives list. Well, he would have been on the former list, but he's on the actives because I don't know. I haven't heard nothing about Lomachenko retiring. Anybody? I heard he said he wasn't in the mood to fight a certain person, but I didn't hear nothing about him being retired. So Vasyl Lomachenko, okay? From the Ukraine, right? Yeah, Ukrainian fighter. Just a little brief of their accomplishments. Ukrainian professional fighter, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, right? Former 3-division champion. He had titles at featherweight, super featherweight, and currently the lightweight IBF, right? IBF for Loma, I think. IBF since 2024. Yeah, IBF, May 2024. All I have to do is go there a little bit further. He's known as High Tech or the Matrix for his fast hands and precise timing. Lomachenko has held multiple world championships across 3 weight classes. Vasyl, Matrix / High Tech, Lomachenko. Okay, next for the active guys from Eastern Europe is Gennady Golovkin. Is Triple G retired? I don't know. He hasn't fought since Canelo, the pay-per-view sparring match. That, you know, this dude named that. That was a perfect name for it. Because that's what it was, a pay-per-view sparring match. You know, they shouldn't have had that third fight. That's the last time he fought, right? I don't know if he's retired. So he's on here with the active guys too. Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. He's already had a Hall of Fame career too, I would say. You know, no matter what he does, what else he does, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's known as Triple G, GGG, or Triple G, or Gennady Golovkin. He's from Kazakhstan, right? Former middleweight champion. He made his debut in 2006, and he's held multiple middleweight world championships, including being a 2-time unified champion. Golovkin is known for his Jekyll and Hyde persona. As of April 2024, he has not announced his retirement after losing to Canelo Alvarez. So no, he hasn't announced it yet, okay? So yeah, I was right in putting him on the active list. Dennis How you pronounce his name? Barinchek. You know who I'm talking about, Denise. I don't know how to pronounce the man's name. Berincyk. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Come on. Don't do me like that. I don't know how to pronounce the man's name. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to spell it. Enys. I think that's it, right? Berinbhyk. Fighting Keyshawn. What is he fighting Keyshawn? Is it him fighting Keyshawn? I think it's him. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, let's touch on him briefly. Dennis. It's Dennis in English, Denise in over there. I think he's Ukrainian. I can't find nobody. I think he's Ukrainian, right? There you go, all the way down at the bottom. Okay. Now Ukrainian professional boxer. Now he's currently the WBO lightweight champion. He's held that since May last year, 2024. As an amateur, he won silver medals in the light junior welterweight division at the 2011 World Championships and the 2012 Summer Olympics. Okay, he won a silver medal in London, and got a fight coming up with the businessman, Keyshawn Davis, this year. Is it this month? I don't think it's too far away. I'm not sure. Sergio Bohachuk. He's in a candidate for Fight of the Year, him and Virgil Ortiz. That was a great fight, man. Every time that bell rang, they both came back to the center of that ring and duked it out. Wasn't no backup in neither one of them. I thought Bohachuk pulled it out, but the judges didn't, and that's who counts. Didn't he drop Virgil twice? Yeah, but, the judges didn't think he won it, so hey. But I think don't count. He gave it to Virgil. But you can't be mad because it was a great fight. That's my fight of the year. Melanin Queen 27 in the building. What's up, Melanin Queen? Yeah, she's got the information for the meet and greet I was talking about earlier in here. Yeah. And see that link? Hit that link, takes you straight to the Cash App. It's $30 now, remember. Told you earlier. It's $30 now because the 20, the special is over with. But you get the same thing for the 30 that you was going to get for the 20, right? You get entry. You get a chance to win that ticket to the fight. All that good food, some door prizes. Get to meet some of the famous big time JBT content creators. Yep. So pull up, New York, February 28th, the day before the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Some of the people that's going to be at the fight going to pull up in there. Get some autographs. Get the legendary Thomas Hill's autograph. That's worth the price of admission right there. Thomas Hill going to be there. Okay. We'll pull up all the way from Cali. If Thomas Hill can come from California, anybody on the East Coast should be able to make it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sergio Bohachuk. Salute, Melanin Queen. He's Ukrainian, right? And he competes in the middleweight division, right? And his fighting, some say his fighting style contrasts raw power with precision. Him and his promoter, Tom Loeffler, have disagreed with the results of some of his fights. They disagreed with the one Bud beat it. I was kind of scared for Bud when it first ended, but yeah, they gave it to him. Called some of his decisions fan-friendly, his losses. How many losses does he have? One or something like that? I don't know. Bohachuk has hinted that the punching power. I was thinking about Radramov. This is Bohachuk. Now, he hinted that the punching power of Virgil Ortiz is a bit overrated. He might be pushing for that rematch, trying to piss Virgil off. Who's been giving you these guys records too? Damn. Bohachuk is currently 19-0 with 9 knockouts. I'm sorry, I didn't give it to you. Triple G. Dennis is 19-0, 9 knockouts. Triple G is 42-2, 1 draw, 37 knockouts. Lomachenko is 18-3 with 12 knockouts. Usyk is 23-0, 14 knockouts. His O might not never go. Bivol is 23-1 with 12 knockouts. And Beterbiev is 21-0, 20 knockouts. And that's another O that might not never. Another O that likely won't go. Beterbiev. You know how they say somebody's O got to go? Beterbiev and Usyk is two O's that likely will not go anywhere, but into retirement with. Now here's Madrimov. Israel, this is one of the fourth blood. I had him and the other one mixed up. You know, like, what is he talking about? He didn't fight no Bud. Yeah, I was talking about this, but I'm sorry. Israel Madrimov. Yeah, he fought Bud. Mm-hmm. I was kind of scared for Bud when they fight first. And they're like, did he do enough? But of course, they was trying to make him and Virgil then. So anything close, Bud was getting. Everybody know that. Anything close, Bud was getting that. That's boxing, you know. Follow the money, right? Okay. Israel Madrimov, right? He's from Uzbekistan. Okay. Damn, that might have me all mixed up. I didn't get past the second syllable, but it is Uzbekistan. He previously had the World Boxing Association junior middleweight title. And I was wrong on Boychuk too. He fights at junior middleweight, not middleweight, junior middleweight. Okay. Just like Madrimov. That would be a good matchup. But they're getting a common opponent because Madrimov is getting ready to fight Boychuk's last opponent, Virgil Ortiz. Is that the 22nd on the Beterbiev Bivol card? Yeah, it's coming. Excuse me, it's coming up. Okay. So yeah, Madrimov just lost his August last year, lost his WBA to Bud Crawford, right? August 2024, junior middleweight, his former champion. He boxes out of Indio, California, originally from Uzbekistan. I don't know why I tried to say Uzbekistan, but now he fights out of Indio, California, right? And as an amateur, Madrimov won a silver medal in the welterweight division at the 2014 Asian Games, and he got a gold medal in the middleweight division in 2018 at those same Asian Games. Okay, got a couple more. After Madrimov is Adam Konecki. Is he still? I think Adam is still. I looked at box records that he was still fighting this morning. Here's Adam, Polish fighter, and then in Eastern Europe, Poland, right? Yeah, I just saw him. I'm not gonna be able to find him. There's Adam Konecki, Polish fighter, Polish-born heavyweight boxer. Now he's based in Brooklyn, New York. His nickname is Babyface due to his youthful appearance. He's 6'3", has a 76-inch reach. He has fought boxers like Robert Helenius, Chris Arreola, and Gerald Washington, right? He's become a favorite at Barclays Arena. You know, he fights out of Brooklyn, right? He represents Brooklyn and his native Poland. And they have a big Polish community up there in Brooklyn, right? He represents Brooklyn and the local Polish community. Now, Konecki immigrated to Greenpoint, Brooklyn, with his family when he was 7 years old. Adam Konecki, yep, 7 years old. Okay, and finally we have Philip Herkovic. Philip is from somewhere over there. I'll tell you in a minute. Philip Herkovic. I got one more thing too I wanted to talk about. Philip Herkovic. Oh, let me put Philip. I got Philip pretty much there. He's the last picture. This Philip. He's happy about something. Got a belt around his waist. Maybe he just won it. Look like the WBC, the green belt, right? Yeah. Maybe he just won it because he's happy. And Philip is Croatian professional boxer, and a dominant force in the heavyweight division. He wasn't so dominant against Daniel Dubois in that 5 versus 5. He made Eddie Hearns cry. Eddie went 0-5. Hmm. I thought Eddie should have got one. I thought Raymond Ford pulled it out. I had picked Nick Ball to beat Raymond Ford, but I thought Ford pulled it out. But it was close. The other one of the ones where you can't be mad either way because it was close. That's when I say I wouldn't want to be a judge. You have to judge fights like that, man. Take your pick. I probably would have called it a draw, But anyway, Ford stayed at that weight one fight too long, I thought, But he got that Riyadh season money. He was planning on moving up, but Turki Al-Sheikh called with that Riyadh season money. He's like, yeah, I'll stay there one fight too long. But it gave him his first loss. He was going to vacate the belt anyway, and he got paid to vacate it. So hey, I just vacated and get nothing. So that's not a bad move. Plus, fighting on that card, Turki might call again in the future. Because Turki is like that loyalty type thing, You say no, you might not never hear from him again. But since Ford on the card, Turki looking to fill some cards. Or Raymond Ford. Yeah. He's that type of person. King type figure, loyalty type figure, That's how he appears to me anyway. But anyway, Perkovic from Croatia, born June 4th, 1992. What that make him? 35? 34. He'll be 35 in a few months. Zagreb, Croatia. Okay? That's where he's from. He won a bronze medal at the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He won bronze at the Olympics. He got a gold medal at the 2015 European Amateur Boxing Championships. That's the year before the Olympics. Like we in America, we had the Pan Am Games the year before the Olympics. They had the European Championships over there, or the Commonwealth Games, one of them. In June 2024, he challenged for the IBF interim heavyweight title. That's the one he lost to Dubois, remember? In that fight, I think. And Hrgovic is trained by Pedro Diaz. He got a good trainer. Pedro ain't bad at all. Let me try to get this in. I got one more thing. One more question to ask and answer. Okay. Are Eastern European boxers becoming dominant in boxing? Huh? Are Eastern European boxers becoming dominant in boxing? Glad you asked again. Y'all probably think I'm crazy. Glad you asked, Cass. Okay. Glad you asked, Cass. Where's it at? Are Eastern European boxers becoming dominant in boxing? Maybe I shouldn't have asked because I can't find it. Oh my goodness. Be 4 o'clock by the time I get this in. I had it in there. Here's everything else. Are Eastern European boxers becoming dominant in boxing? And there it is right there. I love it, man. I love it. Okay, let's get this in. Are Eastern European boxers becoming dominant in boxing? Let's see what it says here. Okay. I looked at it briefly. Little article I found. I'm always finding stuff. I think y'all will be interested in it. Okay, here it is. Now, it says, Eastern European boxers have indeed become a dominant force in boxing over the past decade, particularly in the heavyweight and middleweight divisions. This is a little old, but I think it might be from last year. This trend can be attributed to several factors. Let's see what those factors are. Then we're going to get out of here. Okay. Don't forget, tomorrow is boxing in the States, Oklahoma. And Friday is the life and career of James Lights Out Tony. That's right. James Lights Out Tony Friday. Don't miss it. You're doing yourself a disservice. Now, yeah, it says this trend can be attributed to several factors. Strong boxing tradition. Countries like the Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan have rich boxing traditions and have produced many skilled fighters. Notable champions include the Klitschko brothers, Gennady Golovkin, and Oleksandr Usyk. Amateur success, okay? Eastern European boxers have excelled in amateur boxing, often dominating international competitions like the Olympics and World Championships. This success is translated into professional careers, where many have also become champions. Training and facilities. There has been significant investment in boxing infrastructure in some Eastern European countries, providing fighters with access to high-quality training facilities and coaching. Another factor where they're becoming dominant, cultural factors. In many Eastern European countries, boxing is viewed as a viable path to success and respect, motivating young athletes to pursue the sport seriously, okay? And the final factor, why they're becoming dominant? Marketability. Fighters from this region of the world often have compelling personal stories and backgrounds, making them marketable figures in the sport. And I hate to say it, another big factor that make them marketable is the complexion. Okay, let's just put it out there, the complexion, right? They got the complexion for the protection. Just saying, man, you know. Facts are facts. Right? Okay. As of August 2023, this was last year, this came out. As of August 2020, I'll be reading stuff came out in the 30s and 40s. So August 2023 is good. As of August 2023, Eastern Europeans hold multiple championship titles across various weight classes, and their influence in professional boxing continues to grow. This trend may evolve further, but their current dominance is clear. Yeah, I thought y'all might like that. A little interesting article, you know. Yeah, like I said, I'm always reading something. And yeah, I thought it was over. 2023 ain't that old. Like I said, I'm reading stuff that came out in the 20s. Yeah. So yeah, that's good. August 2023. Okay, that's it. We done ran out of time. But I appreciate everybody that stopped by today. Hope you enjoyed the show. Tomorrow is boxing in the States, Oklahoma. Okay, and this show was brought to you by Thomas Hill. And man, after these shows on the replays, I would have got some serious viewing time, man. Thomas Hill, give me more shows, man. I'm getting all them views and stuff. More ideas. Don't forget the meet and greet, February 28th in New York City, the day before the Tank Davis. Wait a minute. Tank Davis can't fight Gervonta Davis. Not bad. Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight. Okay? I was going to say Tank Davis versus Gervonta Davis. Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. No, I ain't drinking. Okay? Or smoking. But anyway, yeah. Melanie Queen have told you everything you need to know. You got the link in there if you want to come. The link will take you straight to the Cash App. $30. Or if you can't attend the event, make a donation. You know? It's going to a good cause. This thing we call the JBT. It's just boxing talk. That's all. You know? And make a donation. But come to the event. We're gonna have a big time, man. All the content creators gonna be there, most of them. I don't know if Old School coming from Louisiana, but Thomas Hill coming from California, I think. And yeah, it's gonna be a great time. Be in the house, okay? So, I appreciate everybody for stopping through today. Stop through tomorrow and find out some information about boxing in Oklahoma, the history, some fighters from Oklahoma, and some other significant events that happened concerning boxing in Oklahoma. And make sure you stop by Friday. Things like South Tony, come on, find out about the life and career of Lights Out, you know. Talk about the Roy Jones fight. fight up there in Delaware where he fought the guy, and they say the guy from Delaware won it, but they gave it to James Toney. Then they found out 2 of the 3 judges didn't even have licenses to judge a fight in New Jersey. They had a big Senate investigation on it. Dave Tiberi, in Lights Out, And they were at a thing a few years ago together after their careers. James and Dave was. I think it was some kind of Hall of Fame ceremony or something. They were both at. I got a picture of them together. Well, I got it out of something like that. I mean, ain't like they sent me a signed picture. I cut it out of something. But I still got the picture, right? They ain't have to send it to me. I got it, right? So that's it though. And appreciate everybody, man. Hope you enjoyed the show. And join me tomorrow. Because if it's Monday, wait a minute, I ain't finished. Melanin Queen 27. Read my own name, right? Camera act. What in the world is that? Oh, Melanin Queen 27. That was Define Arnie 1. I was scribbling. Define Arnie 1. Melanin Queen 27 get mentioned 4 times. Melanin Queen 27. Define Arnie 1. Jarrell Hattie. Ken Saw Love 1. Just Do Boxing. Coming up in a matter of minutes. Mike Rim. Technique. Thomas Hill hashtag JBT. The legendary Thomas Hill hashtag JBT. Mike Masick. And Miss Cass hashtag JBT. All in the building today. And I appreciate the people that is out there. I know Aunt McQueen out there listening. Attentive Aunt McQueen. Appreciate you. And join me tomorrow though, because you know if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Just Do Boxing straight ahead. This is Cass Sports. Appreciate everybody. Everybody have a great afternoon. And I will see y'all around those JBT streets.